live on Facebook. Get to check us out on YouTube as well, as we get to brag about the positive side of media and with everyone that we bring to the table. It is at the Roundtable Podcast Show. What's going on, family?
Hey, how are you?
Oh man, boy, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving the love and the melanin that's just overflowing right now. All these people, our people, God's people. Yes, sir. So I would be remiss without introducing these amazing folk. Of course, ladies first. We have the pit bull in the dress. You know, her regal majesty herself. Yes, indeed, it is Melissa Bartlett. What's going on, sis?
Hey, how you going, family? My brothers, our guests. I'm glad to be reaching Wednesday. I'm so excited that we are in the middle of the week, and I'm glad to see your guys' faces. And you know, for me, when we are done with the show, I'm ready to start another one. So I look forward to Wednesdays and look forward to being able to, you know, chop it up with you guys and bring our family, our viewers, something positive.
Right, all right. Y'all heard it first, and then we get to introduce the next gentleman, aka the fact checker, the brother that knows everything and tells everything. And yes, we call him A Money, Adrian Biddle. And why do we call him A Money, sis?
Call him A Money because when he brings it to you, you can bank on.
Yes, indeed.
All right. That still tickles me. I appreciate the
Yo, I'm loving the glasses too, bro. I'm gonna tell you that.
Appreciate it.
Looking right dapper right there.
Thank you, sir. And finally, the man that stirs the drink, the man that runs the show, our partner in crime, Mr. Urban. Introduce yourself, bro.
Oh man, it's just a humble brother named Kerry Digsby who gets to sit here with these amazing individuals and just talk about them and talk about the guests and hopefully again bring a positive side of media to the masses. Today is a special day, I think, because I got a chance to actually talk to this brother years ago in my publication and just watch how he has done things in a positive way, from his music to now being the CEO and founder of a vocational trade, traditional vocation center here in Charlotte, North Carolina, giving education to the masses, getting them prepared for life and life skills. I have here, humbly, Minister Michael Norman. What's going on, sir? Yes, indeed.
Thank you for having me. Got a lot of information to give you, so if I get overwhelmed, just excuse me because I'm really passionate about this, but thank you for having me, and I'm really going to enjoy this.
All right. Well, Melissa, we know you always do your homework as well. So I'm, like I said, ladies first, because I know you got some questions in regards to what he's doing right now here for the city of Charlotte and also for other individuals as well, getting them on the right path.
Well, you know, I like to start off with the backstory. I like to know, you said it was your passion, you said overwhelmed. I'm already tingling just to hear that sentence come out of Minister Norman's mouth. What made you go into this and pursue it so vigilantly to say, I can't stop, this is needed, it has to happen, and I have to be the one to drive this force?
Okay, I'm going to cut this a little short, okay, because I got years.
Years. That's all right. We got an hour. We ready to hear. Go ahead.
When I came to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was coming from a very dark place. I was coming from a very heavy crack addiction. Remember the crack epidemic? I got caught up in that, so I went to treatment and started a journey from Black Mountain, came to Charlotte with 35 cents in my pocket and 2 cigarettes. I know I had 2 cigarettes because I looked in my pocket and said, man, I got 2 cigarettes left. What's not what I'm gonna do? But I had 2 cigarettes and everything I owned was in 2 hands. And I slept on the floor because it stayed at capacity. July 1997, never forget, when I arrived in Charlotte, North Carolina to stay for a little while. So I stayed at George Sheen's shelter. That's what George Sheen's shelter did. Stayed there, slept on the floor. I was going to give up because I was sleeping on the floor. I was saying, God, I just came out of addiction. They dropped me off here at the shelter and I'm sleeping on the floor. I got to get up with 50 to 60 men and trying to fight my way to get a shower in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that was really, really thumping on my brain and my spirit. So I was going to give up. I was planning on being the baddest drug dealer in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm.
I was going to give up. But I was going out the door, and the word of the day said, the measure of a man. And this is not exactly, but somewhere around it said the measure of a man is not how well he does during the time of good times, but how he handled himself during the time of adversity. I said, okay, you know, you're talking to me now. I dropped my anchor right there, and I took my progressive journey. I stayed in that shelter, and I took a progressive journey towards where I'm at today, and rewinding it all the way forward through me working through Charlotte, working on jobs, getting humbling myself by working at the car wash and with an engineering degree. My sponsor told me, hey, you need to get humble, work at the car wash. I said, what? I got an engineering degree. You want me to go to the car wash? He said, it'll be all right, do it. So I did that, humbled myself, enjoyed it, got to a point to where I wanted to stay, and then the electrical jobs opened for me once I got humbled. And I got on my progressive journey. I always wanted to do something. It was embedded in me from my dad. I seen the man in the community function by having a trade. Our community thrived because the men in it would supplement their income with a trade. We had a carpenter up the street, a brick mason across the street, and they were horse trade. Okay, if you fix my garage, then I can do this for you. They didn't have to go get the food stamp because they supplemented their income with the trade. So the community thrived. We had community stores, we had community centers, we had tradesmen on the block, and we were thriving. So that was always embedded inside of me that that's what I wanted to do. Plus, I seen that the trade was the quickest way to bring a community out of poverty and to own your own business. So that was always in me. So when I was on my progressive journey, I started writing my own curriculum until I started teaching at Goodwill when it was on Freedom Drive. And I seen the NCCER curriculum. So I said, this is a pretty good curriculum. And while on that progressive journey, I started going into the jail, teaching Bible studies on Sunday mornings. During my orientation, this would really kick me and really just drove that passion crazy. They told me in orientation, the lady said, this percentage of populations is Latino. This percentage of the population is white. 95% of the population in here is African American. I said, ma'am, hold up. I raised my hand. She said, yes, sir. Ma'am, I think you made a mistake. Did you say 95% of the population in here is African American? She said, yes, sir. I still didn't believe her until I started going in there and I started counting it. Now that was 3 years ago. I don't know the percentage now, but that was 3 years ago. So when I started counting them, when I go in, I said, yeah, she's about right. It's about 95% of the population African American. That blew my mind. I had to do something. I had to do something. It was in my mind too. I wanted my brothers to have an opportunity, not only a second chance, you coming out with a felony, because I seen it out there on the block when I was running crazy. Brothers coming out with a felony, wanting to do right, wanting to take care of their family. Baby mama said, you said you was going to do right. He's out looking for a job, got a felony on his record. Week 2, haven't got a job. He's getting nervous. Baby mama getting nervous. You said you was going to do this. I'm trying, honey, but I can't find a job. Got a felony on his record. His resume, his application gets thrown in the trash can. He gets frustrated, and here comes this $500 a day deal. He takes the $500 a day deal that he can turn that day to pay the light bill, to pay the rent. So now he's trapped back into that revolving door, heading back to the revolving door incarceration. So I wanted to have in my heart, and my passion was to create something, not only to teach you a trade, but to empower you while I'm teaching you and have a clear path towards success to where you have a job. And I know how you feel, brother. You just came out of jail. You haven't got much money, so I'm not going to charge you. And when you finish, I'm going to give you $300 worth of tubes, sister and brother. So we do veterans and also dislocated workers. So the long story short, that's what drove my passion.
Wow. Wow. And I love transparency. I love transparency because you didn't have to give your past, that part that may not be so appealing. You know, you could have just started from with, hey, I did this, I did that. And that is right there is why you're so successful, because people feel that you are relatable. They feel that they can identify, and they
I lost her.
am I back?
You back?
Yeah.
You are.
I'm back. Okay. I was just saying that the transparency is what draws people to you, because there's a lot of these programs that's here. There's a lot of people that's trying.
Oh, a little bit. Y'all don't worry, it's just the rain outside. A little technical difficulties freezing, but should be. There we go. Okay.
I'm so sorry if I'm
It's all right.
freezing up. I mean, they don't have the success that Minister Norman's having, because they're doing it without passion. They're doing it without transparency. They're doing it without the sincerity of wanting to have that purpose-driven home and see the growth of the people in that community. So I'm just so excited about you sharing that with us. I do have another question. So after the ministry, going into preach to and minister and enlighten those brothers that's incarcerated. Did any of those particular inmates that were able to get out, did they look you up? Did you find yourself maybe having them in your program?
Yes, we have 2 that came through our program, and one of them is working for my electrical company today.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's what's up. That was good. I told y'all this is going to be real informative and empowering as well. Oh, shouts out to Robert Connor. He just joined us on At the Roundtable podcast show. Hello, Robert. Terry Digsby, she just joined. Thank you for joining us, sis. My daughter, and also Latosha. Oh, Latosha. Yes, she is the entrepreneur extraordinaire. She's joining us. She said it's her favorite day because it's Wednesday and she gets to join us on At the Roundtable.
Oh, that's all right. We're gonna have to send us
We
some.
appreciate that. We appreciate that. Daryl Cook just joined us as well. He commented facts. He said, when you get out, you really do have a choice to make. He said, do you struggle day in and day out to find a job, or do you fall back on what you know in the streets? That's what the doctor said right here.
True.
Amen.
That's true. Well, Minister Norman, you got such a strong testimony, such a strong testimony. My question for you is, have you always been spiritual? Kind of touching back on the beginning, have you always been spiritual and happened to lose your way, or what you were going through kind of led you to being spiritual?
Both.
Both.
My dad was a street minister. He ministered out in the streets, and I used to follow him around. And he sent me to a Bible college, and he was running around the neighborhood telling people, I'm going to be a preacher. I said, why is he telling people that? I ain't going to be no preacher. Well, he messing up my style. No. So I was always interested in the spiritual aspect of it. I studied a lot of religions. I was a Black Muslim when I was in college. I studied Presbyterian. I studied Jehovah's Witnesses. I was Jehovah's Witnesses for about 3 years. I studied Seventh-day Adventist. And I was ordained as a minister here in Charlotte. I was baptized by Bishop for Nations Ford Community Church on Nations Ford Road. I was ordained by Bishop Walters on the Remnant Outreach Ministry. I was preaching in the pulpit every other Sunday. But I always had a passion for the spiritual. It just, I went totally left, all the way left, in some more, all the way left. But it was always something grabbing at my spirit, even when I was taking that crack run, that was telling me that, hey, and that's what brought me in, because I lost the house, I lost the car, I lost the jobs, but that didn't matter to me. But when I started feeling my spirit slipping away, then I said, whoa, this is getting really serious. It's time to do something. So that's when I cried out to the Most High and said, Most High, I'm ready to come in. Please bring me in. And he brought me in, and I took my spiritual journey. Today, I'm studying with the Israelites, and my wife and I studied that when we believe in that. And it's an eye opener. We call it the Great Awakening, but the spiritual part is very important. That's why I call my school the 3 E's: educate, empower, and employ. The employment part has to happen. Not that we drive and push the Bible down their throat, but when you walk into the school, all the way to the left, well, the first thing you see on the left, we call it the law of the worlds, the 10 Commandments. So I feel that if a man obey the 10 Commandments, he won't go back to jail. There's no way he can break the laws of the land if he obey the 10 Commandments, because they're so simple. Do not kill, do not steal, respect the other man, respect his wife, respect your neighbor, treat everybody the way you want to be treated. So spiritual is very important.
Deep message. Yes. Appreciate you sharing.
Yes, indeed. So, Doctor, I've got to ask this question in regards to, one of the things that many young people, as they've been going to school, and, some of us, when we were in school, one of the things that the parents always taught is, I'm doing this. I want you to go to college. I want you to go to college. I want you to go to college. But now we're seeing an awakening, I think, of the vocational trades. So how important was it for you to, in a sense, talk to these young people and express to them the importance of vocational trade?
It wasn't hard because our brothers and sisters was coming to a place to where they couldn't go to college because they couldn't afford it. To come out with a big student loan on their back. So that was one of the issues that I was bringing forward. And I was teaching them and telling them that the trade, through telling them my journey, how I got from where I was to I own my own electrical contracting business, told them how much my finances are online. You can review my finances, how much my business made. We showed them that, showing them that you can go through this school, you can get a trade. You're not coming out of school with a big, heavy loan on your back. You're not taking subjects that you don't want to take, like the English and the psychology and all that, and you're sitting there tapping your feet, waiting to get into the meat. But we take them directly into the meat. So that's something that's very appealing to them when I walk them through the school and show them the hands-on experienced trainers that we got, that they can put their hands on it. They can take compressors apart. They can take the control boards and wire up mock walls that we got here at the school, and they can put their hands on it, and they eyes just light up, man. They ready to go. They ready to go.
That's powerful. Uh-oh, I see the wheels turning up there on my sister. What you got, sis?
No, I was just going to ask, what are some of the programs that you offer for them? Is it just strictly electrical? Is there any other, what trades do you offer those coming in?
We got electrical 1 and 2. We got HVAC. We're going to start solar installation in May. We got financial literacy classes where we bring in 5th, 3rd, manager for 5th, 3rd, and manager for First Citizen. And we got leadership. I bring in Black business owners to keep their mind in the entrepreneurship mindset. So we bring in leaders and sponsors and mentors to come in and mentor them. And the leadership class is a very big part of it.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Yes. And so working in your particular field and opening up that technical school, it has to be rewarding. Do you have any particular story you'd like to share with us from maybe one of your students that made you proud?
All of them do, but the particular one is Trey Ladding. It's a video on I think we got on our website that WCNC did with Trey Ladding. Trey came to me straight out of jail as a drug dealer, and he don't mind me telling the story. He came to me, he said that I really want this, Mr. Norman, and I gave him my sales pitch. I gave him a sales pitch, so mine got interested in what we had, and Trey would be at the school waiting on me in the parking lot. Every morning, on me, ready to go. I said, man, this guy's serious. We didn't have many people in the school then. This was our Yeah, it was our first class. We did a one-on-one Trey and I. Trey went all the way through the class, was there every day, did not miss a class. And when he graduated, his mother came and he brought his girlfriend. His mother sit and cried when he graduated. She hugged me, she hugged him, and Trey graduated, and I hired him through Charlotte Works. Charlotte Works paid 65% of his salary while he worked for me. Trey, this was 3 years ago. Trey is now ready to go for his electrician license. Same thing. He's there early in the morning. First he's the one on the job. So Trey is a crew leader right now. He was once a drug dealer. He's taking care of his family. I remember his mom died 2 years ago. I went to a funeral, and he just an inspiration. He's just an inspiration to the school and to my electrical company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Trey.
Yeah.
So happy to hear a success story, because you do have so many young men that they start out strong, and whether it's I listened to a sermon about us going to our default self. So sometimes, you know, the calling to go to the default self is stronger than wanting to push to something new, or the support just isn't there. So you kind of get a little withdrawn, and you're not motivated. So it's so exciting to hear that you provide that for a complete success. If you just don't show up, if you just don't want it, that's the only way that you will fail, is that you just don't want it.
Right, because we make it possible. And I tell them, and I do tell my story. At the beginning of the class, I get them all in the room and I tell my story. And I tell them the reason why I'm telling you my story, where I came from, because there's no excuse whatsoever in this room for you not to make it if you listen what I'm going to show you and what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how to get to the end of this prize that we got at the end, which is a job, and that's your progressive journey towards having your own business. So we got everything that they need to be successful. They get free books, they get free tools, and they get free training. And I went out and got the best instructors. You cannot be an instructor here unless you own your own business. So we went out and got the best instructors, we got the best books, we got the best school, we're the flagship now. We are leading the way. So we leading the way, 85% graduation rate, and we due to COVID, we would have had 100%. Our first 2 graduations were 100% employment rate. So it was about 45 to 50% employment rate, the class that just graduated due to COVID. But we do have a 85% graduation rate. And I'm trying to get that 100% employment rate back. I'm working really hard on that, by talking to different companies, inviting them to the school. Are you willing to hire and come down and mentor some of these guys and some of these ladies once they graduate?
Okay, that was my question. Do you have women that are in the program as well?
Oh yes, LaQuisha was one of our top last graduates. LaQuisha, we got 2 ladies this semester. That's
okay. And Minister Norman, I know this may seem like an obvious question, but I'm going to ask just to make sure that we don't leave anyone saying, well, it may not be for me if they're interested. What is there an age limit? Is there an age where you're saying, oh, sorry, we can't help you?
I don't think that we'd go under the age of 13. The reason why I said that, because I did have a 14-year-old Latino guy brought his son to me. He said, would you teach my son? We had to sign a release form, and he was in the class because he was in the class for ex-offenders. So we had to sign a release form. His dad signed a release form. Irvin was one of the top 4 in the class. So the idea was his daddy couldn't read English really good, but his daddy can do the work in residential line. So if I send my 14-year-old son to you, you train him, and he's growing up in English schools, by the time he graduate, 1 more year out in the field, he can go take the electrical contractors test. Now dad has a business. Right. So To answer your question, 14 is the lowest I think I would go.
Okay. Okay.
That's real good right there. I like that. Should have sent my son when he was about 14 years old. I got some electrical work around him. Got a twofer. But that's real good though. That is real good that you're taking care of that great divide. Especially that's one of the things, because with young people coming in, just something to keep their attention, and there's a possibility this could be it. And then you know how young people are very influential as well. They go and tell their friend, yeah, I've been working with my dad over the weekend and I'm making about a good $22, $23 an hour. That could
Or hey, I'm co-ownership in my own company and I'm 15, I'm 16 years old. How about that conversation? Because these kids these days are more how can I make the most money now versus where we were just lucky to get a check to check. These children are already, in their own way. A lot of it is social media driven, but they have more of an entrepreneurship mental plan than we did and what we thought about when we were their ages. So the fact that you can say, hey, I'm co-owner with my pops and we have our own electrical contracting business, to me, that's great.
Yeah, it really is great. And I found out through this school and going to the jail and teaching and talking to them in the jail that I'm looking at this and I'm analyzing this. I'm saying, hey, these guys that's in here, these ladies that's in here, those are my tradesmen and trade women, because they sit in school, they do not see a clear path towards being a lawyer, being a doctor, being this. They know they haven't got the money to get in, and football is not going to get some of them in. So they sit in class and their minds and say, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to make trouble, I know I ain't going to do nothing. So those are my tradesmen, because I'm finding out when they get in class and start wiring up stuff and start working with those tools, they come alive. They come alive. They go tell their friends, hey, I got my friend, I talked to him yesterday, Mr. Norman, about your class. He want to sign up for it. Bring them on down and we interview them, but we make sure that they're ready, because we're going to spend a lot of money on you, bro, sis. You got to be ready for this journey we're going to take you on. You can't drop out in the middle of this journey, because I'm going to spend a lot of money on you. I'm going to give you free books. I'm going to give you free tools. I'm going to give you free time. And we're gonna pay for this. So we make sure that they are ready. They gotta be ready, because we're gonna take them on a journey towards owning their own business. And we also keep up with them years after they have graduated. We got files on them. I have my secretary, my administration assistant to call them, keep up with them. How's he doing? Is he still working? What level is he at? As far as on the job, is he an electrician yet, or is he still a helper? What can we do to bring him up? Because some of them still have to come back and work in the lab and get some practice and some more experience.
Okay. I have another question, guys. I'm sorry, Minister Norman. When it comes down to the program, we did a show last year with one of the vocational CEE, I believe that's what it's called, CTE in CMS, where there are pretty much, I think you can count the high schools now on one hand that still have some type of a vocational curriculum. Do you see yourself?
I lost it.
Ask it again, sis.
Yeah.
Am I back? Yeah, you're back.
I'm
Go ahead
so
and
sorry.
All right.
If I knew what I could do, I could. We did a show last year with a vocational teacher. She actually was into cosmetology. You could, or do you think, or you see yourself reaching out to some school systems to try to promote either your program or some other vocational programs back into the curriculum? Because right now, I think we're like at maybe 4 schools within the CMS school system that has the vocational curriculum, and a lot of them have just done away with them completely.
Yes, but to answer your question, I want West Charlotte High School.
Yes, that used to be the vocational trade capital right there back in the day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
to get into West Charlotte High School. We had a couple of meetings before COVID with Charlotte High School and Independence because we on the east side, of course. But I'm shooting for West Charlotte High School and Independence. But the conversation is still happening. I know that I think it's Philip O'Berry is doing NCCER, but they're not doing it like we're doing it. We putting our hands on the equipment. When they come out of a school, they know when they get on the job. We're not just pushing them through with a lot of book knowledge that they're going to drop when they get on the job. So to answer your questions, yes, West Charlotte High School, Philip O'Berry, and we also working with Waysboro Alternative School.
Okay.
A hometown.
Bearcat.
Yeah.
They moved to Freedom Drive. My mind shut down on me, the name of them. They moved to Freedom Drive. They're sitting in the back there. What's the name of them? They're alternative school.
Trying to think. I know you got
off right down the street from us. What's the name of them? Off of Independence, there's one.
Is it Movement?
No, it's an alternative school.
Oh, okay.
When kids, when they drop out of high school, they can
Oh,
go
yeah.
On the computer and get their GED.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so ashamed I don't remember their name. But I think of when I'm not thinking.
I always like that.
Looking to see if we can partner with them also.
Now, you just mentioned, Doctor, the about partnerships and such, and I would be remiss to not ask this, or you get an opportunity to share it. But you know, many of the companies that have thrown their hat in the ring in order to help Global at this time or provide the mentorships and such. Could you mention them and talk about them right now?
Yes, we are a member of the Charlotte Workforce Development Team. It's a team that got together with all the jobs that's going on in Charlotte and the lack of tradesmen. They wanted to have a pipeline of good quality tradesmen. So that's we're in with R.J. Leeper and Wayne J. Griffin, Holden Construction Company. We have partnered with Aerotech. We have partnered with Alliance Temp Agency. The local 379 union was down here 3 days ago. We had a conversation with them. Hopefully that we'll be able to partner with them. And we always looking for other ones, but that's our partners as we speak right now.
That's very good. That's very good. And any companies out there that want to be a part of this as well, you can definitely contact them. I just put the website information on this stream so you can see and contact Brother Norman in regards to this. See, hey, Money, I see you down there thinking. I see the wheels. What's going on?
Yeah, see that, brass.
Yeah, they're gonna smile.
Yeah, silly. Well, I was waiting for one of y'all to bring this, one of my colleagues to bring this up, Minister Norman. So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Not only are you a business owner, not only are you a community leader, but you're also a musical artist.
Yes.
Let's delve into that a little bit, sir. What brought you to getting into the music side?
I grew up in a musical family. My dad sent all of us to learn piano and instruments, and I really wanted to stay on the piano, but they pushed me to play the drums. So I ended up playing the drums. He wanted a gospel group, but we all started going our separate ways. I started doing funk and jazz, and my other brothers liked Sinatra. So we all went different ways, and I was always musical, thinking about songs. But what was inside of me was to write music that's going to address my people's situation in the spiritual realm, my people's problems. So the last song that I wrote, it's on YouTube, called Can't Breathe, was based on what's going on in America today. Is taking a progressive journey from when we got off the boat, our ancestors got off the boat, stepped their foot on this soil as slaves, took a progressive journey towards different levels of slavery, even though they said it was freedom, but it was different levels. So the song talks about the different levels all the way up to when they stepped off that boat to 2020, and we still see no real progress. So inside of me is, I was always an activist. I'm gonna just throw that out there. I always been an activist because I grew up in a community to where the men took care of their community and we thrived. We didn't even have to go out of our community. We stayed most of my community. You go out of your community, your mom there say, where's Mike? Well, you know, what are you doing way down in there? Somebody seen you down there. You got this up here. We had our own swimming pool, we had our own community center, we had our own stores. So that type of living embedded in me comes out in the music, and it comes out hard sometimes. That song, Can't Breathe, it may seem hard to some people, but if you look and do what you said, somebody do fact check, right? Fact check. Please, fact check it. Fact check it. I wanted to do it because I go out every other Sunday on Bates Ford and Catherine Simmons, and we give out free clothes, we give out food sometimes, and we give out the word of the Most High God. I went downtown with my videographer, and they was doing a march with the NAACP. I wasn't feeling the vibe. I said, man, I'm not feeling this, man. I need to be somewhere where people are really oppressed with this music. So I said, let's do it next week. So we went to Catherine Simmons and Bates Ford Road, and that's where we did the video, because that's where it needs to be done. That's the type of music that it talks in the spiritual realm, because I believe that the spiritual happens and manifests in the natural. Right. And if we can get a grasp on our spiritual, then our natural will become more clearer and better for us. But we got to get a grasp on that spiritual first. Who are we in the Most High? Oh, we are kings and priests and people of power in the Most High God. We can't believe what someone that wants to keep us in a box is telling us. We got to come out and hit that spiritual and let our spirits illuminate in our communities first. And then the natural would take care of itself.
That's right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get way out of talk.
I'm tingling. No. You're right on point. Especially with how I feel, Minister Norman. I believe that you have to have a core center. You have to. Internet stopped again. Am I back?
You bet.
Okay. I was saying that your core has to be spiritual. Your consciousness has to have something and someone to elevate. You need to make a change. Did I stop again?
Yeah, and you sounded like you were about to get deep.
What she about to get in, boy? What she about? Doors of the church were open, boy.
Well, my mama was a preacher too, so.
Yeah.
But, you need to have a spiritual core. You have to have a consciousness. You have to be able to have something to rely on, relate to, because these times will definitely keep you oppressed. They will get you depressed, and then you would have to find yourself out of this dark place. So having just to say, you know how many people will be at the march, the NAACP march, and just be like, oh, I'm here. And you wasn't feeling it. You know, that again, that shows your true passion, your true calling, your very core has to be in tune with the very beat of the people. And that's just so impressive, because a lot of people are out here right now, you know, that are being a part of something just to make noise, to take pictures, to post, to make comments. And, you know, my uncle told me a long time ago, everybody with the same skin ain't kin. So, you know, they don't have the same type of purpose as you do. Right. So I'm just so excited.
She done dropped another one.
Did she do? You caught that too, didn't you?
Yeah, man.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but you know, she be dropping them nuggets, and gotta get them up. Yeah, that was powerful right there. That's powerful. And family, check it out. I just dropped the link to the YouTube video. I Can't Breathe. Go check it out right now.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
It is. It's powerful. He was dropping, you know, he dropped bars, but at the same time, it makes you. It's one of those type bars. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So let me ask you this, doctor, because you know, again, you know, the spoken rap, you know, you got a chance to share that. You've been on the radio as well. In the amount of time that you've gone through this test to show your testimony, I know there's some things that are about to happen on the horizon. What do you have planned moving forward? Let's say in the next 5 years, you know, with, you know, the vocational center and also your own ministry. What's in the works?
For us, the vocational center, we just bought a building up in Marvin, outside of Waysboro, North Carolina. So we're going to put our next school there. Also, about a couple of more buildings up there. We want to do a Black Wall Street there. If you ever been to the town, go to Marvin, Google it. They did a report on it. 85% Black. The town is desolate.
Yes, it is.
I bought the city bank very cheap, and I'm working in a couple more buildings because I want to attract mechanicals and farmers bank up there to pour into this community to get brothers and sisters to look at this cheap property. Let's build something. So I want to help build Black Wall Street, and matter of fact, the next song will be Black Wall Street. Okay.
You heard it first right here at the round table.
Should have said that. So steal my song. Read the book and it inspired me very so much. And also, very so much, we are looking at putting Global Vocational Training Center in Delahaye Court, right there in the community.
Oh, wow.
And in the projects, we want to put these schools in. It can be a small building or the community center where we go in to where they can come out their door and don't have to get on the bus, don't have to struggle to get to work. And we work on daycare for the women to where they can just come to school and get a trade, and we get them a job so they can get out the poverty level that they're in and own their own business, and then come back and get somebody else. So we want to put them in each of the distressed area: Delahaye Court, Sugar Creek, Parkwood, way down in the deep area of Parkwood, Batesford Road. And my friend, she's taking care of the west side. Shout out to Global, not Global, but Batesford Vocational Center on the west side. So that's the plan, to put these in, start off in Charlotte, go to Waysboro, from Waysboro, go to Baltimore. And I'm throwing a plan, an idea out here. And this is a little bit off subject, that instead of 1 million men marching to Washington, spending your whole day in time in Washington and coming out of Washington with nothing. You don't spend the whole day with 1 million man money getting to Washington, gas, bus, rental. And when you come out of Washington with 1 million man, you got nothing. You haven't got a deal or nothing. Now, my ideal is take 1 million man, each man, we're not going to Washington. You bring $50 with you, or maybe $100 with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the best Black accountants, Black lawyers, and we're going to set this up into mechanicals, farmers, and bank with people that's trustworthy to see after this money. And the first thing we're going to do is go to Baltimore and buy up all that distressed property, all those distressed buildings that are just sitting there. Now we own them. We own the block. We got carpenters among those 1 million men. We got electricians among those 1 million men. We got plumbers among those 1 million men. We're going to fix it up. And we're going to hire our own Black security to take care of it. Now we finished with Baltimore. We got schools there. We got stores there with our own money. And we got investments there. Now let's go to Atlanta and find us distressed property and buy it up. Let's go back to Charlotte. Let's go over to Los Angeles, Inglewood, and buy up all that cheap distressed property. Okay, because 1 million men with $50 each, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. That's lying. I'm gonna throw my other hometown city in there. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has a lot of cheap. I mean, homes that are like $19,000, $15,000, $26,000. That if you can have someone who has the skill and the knowledge that your group, your force, your army of kings, they could take and flip that property, and it could be from transitional homes, having people do. I see I'm out.
You good?
You back?
I'm good. Okay. That see if they have a workshop. You got people. I was just talking to one of my friends that has a home that they he was gonna sell. He said, you know what, I'm gonna keep it. But he said, you know what, I'm not gonna rent it out, and I'm not gonna make an Airbnb out of it. He said, I'm gonna make each room its own little shop. So there's somebody in there that does t-shirts. There's somebody in there that make candles. There's somebody in there that makes the little like light fixtures. They have these unique light fixtures. There's somebody in there that actually make purses, from cigar boxes. All of these things. He said, I'm sure that our people have some place to go, have something that they need. And I thought that was great because it's right in the middle of, the hood, the urban city, the urban neighborhood that nobody and everybody's walked away from. And there's a lot of those neighborhoods in Pittsburgh that if we get somebody with this type of a vision that could go in and ask, hey, what does this cost? Let's do it. Get the back taxes done. That's yours, and it can now grow and revitalize that community.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We spending a lot of time, and I'm not going to tell you my age, but the sun go down on you real fast.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of time when we already know the cat is out of the bag. We are powerful, strong people. We have to be because we survived a lot. If you are over here, if you got your foot on the soil here in America, that means your ancestors' blood is powerful. Because first of all, they made it over here. Second of all, they went through the mental destruction of seeing their family going left and the other one going right and their baby going to another person. Then they had to go through the mental abuse. So that means that if we survive, that means we are strong people.
Right.
So time to stop using that strength and that spirit of our ancestors that's in us with foolishness. I opened my school on being real about it, trusting the Most High, of course, but being real about what I want to do. Let's go after it. Let's do this. It's time for us to do it ourselves.
It's time to do it. I posted last night. I said, my mama used to say, wannabes don't make no honey.
Do it. We can
Did it again.
Did she do it again, bro?
He did it again.
I didn't even get a chance to get my pen. She's just dropping them. Wow. Okay. So, bro, go ahead. I had a question. Now I'm flabbergasted because she done dropped that nugget
I'm
on
sorry.
me.
She kind of threw me off with that one a little bit too. But
made you think.
Before you ask your question, Kerry, I just like to commend you, Minister Norman, especially on behalf of the people of Morven, North Carolina, as well as Wadesboro and the county of Anson County, because as you stated, that's a decimated area that's seen loss of businesses moving and job loss, and it's when you drive through there, as you described it, it is desolate. So for you to take time out and recognize that and actually try to bring something back to the community that can actually uplift them, I like to pretty much pay you homage on doing such a thing.
Thank you, sir. It's
Yes,
a big,
Yes, indeed.
future. Leon Gatewood, the center up there, Holler?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, okay. They got a center up there that he just renovated, community center called Holler. They just got a grant, and that's who called me because he heard about my center. Called me and look at it.
Okay, I'm gonna be following you. If it's something that I can help engage with up there with you, I'll be more than happy to do it. But I'm gonna be following you and the progression of that.
Okay.
I knew what my question was now.
Okay.
My mind is clear. No, I wanted to bring up the song that Miss Norman did, and it's called Awakening. And I thought it would
That's a
be,
good.
yeah, I wanted to definitely bring that up as we get ready to close out and such. I want to ask you, how did you come up with the concept of it and your video? What's the story behind it?
Woo.
I knew this. That's why I asked.
Uh,
Like I said, I took a progressive journey as far as studying different religions.
Mhm.
And it came from when I started studying with the Hebrew Israelites, discovering through research. I always say research to research.
Mhm.
My wife and I, we stepped back from the Christian church. I stepped back out of the pulpit and meditated on Most High, because it got to the point to where my mind was saying, it's got to be something more. I'm always looking for more. I'm always doing research. And I couldn't understand why we was doing some things in the church that was not lining up. So we stepped back and started researching, and we started studying with the Hebrew Israelites. And that opened up my mind and my spirit to who I really am through DNA research, through researching and research, but going through different books that were hidden from us while we were, I would say, asleep. While we was out in the cotton field, these books were being hidden and they was being used to keep us into a certain state. But now that our eyes are open, uh, we are reading it, studying it, researching it, and finding out, hey, those people in Israel were black.
Mhm.
The Hebrew Israelites had to be black because of the research. And I'm not going to get into the long aspect of it, but there's a lot of information out there. Go research and read Ron Dalton, Hebrews to Negroes.
Mhm.
He has 4 volumes and he has 2 long films. Make sure that you get your cover and get whatever you like to eat and sit down for about 2 hours and just get into this. And it's telling us about who we are past before the slave trade. Didn't you ever wonder who was my ancestors before the slave trade? What they taught us in school, only the slave trade. So we start digging into that and start digging into Timbuktu, start digging into West Africa, North Africa, the Ethiopian African, the Timbuktu story, Musa, richest man on earth, and then start taking us into the religious aspect of who the African Americans really are, who we have to be. So that makes me waking up and saying, no wonder when my brothers step on the football field, they do amazing things. No wonder when they step on the basketball court, they do amazing things. No wonder when they write music, it's off the charts because there's a spirit in them that has been ordained by the Most High God. So we are finding out and saying that we are the people of the books. We part of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the song Awakening, it starts off with Deuteronomy 28, because through researches, if you read Deuteronomy 28, there are some blessings and there are some curses. So Deuteronomy 28, I start the song off with because it's telling about if you do not hearken to the voice of the Most High, then these curses are going to follow you. And when you look at those curses, the African Americans are the only one that those curses line up with when you start reading those curses. And then the song also talks about our journey as African Americans, our spiritual journey as African Americans. How in the world did we get on the bottom? You go to Caribbean islands, Bahamas, the Bahamians on the bottom. You go to Haiti on the bottom, United States of America on the bottom, Chicago on the bottom, Florida on the bottom, Charlotte, the majority on the bottom. Why is that? So we saying that ain't no way that our enemy or the ones that's keeping us, that put us on the bottom, that had us enslaved, they couldn't be stronger than us. We proved that. They're not stronger than us. They're not more spiritual than us. And what in the world happened to put us on the bottom, to keep us on the bottom this long? The word of the Most High says that in Deuteronomy 28, if you do not hearken to the voice of the Most High, that you will serve your enemies. So if our people, what we teach, what we preach, was to go back, and I said this before, to the spiritual first. Get the spiritual together. Get the alignment together so that we can be in alignment with our power, with our God, okay? Be in alignment with our God by taking out all this junk that we've been taught by our oppressor, because your oppressor is not going to teach you how to defeat him.
Right.
So we studied this, and we studied this deeply, and we went into books that are coming to surface now. We studied out the book of Jasher. We studied out of the King James Version. We studied the Apocrypha. We studied a lot of books out there that a lot of historians wrote. I'm studying Ron Dalton's book on the DNA of the African American. He's saying that the DNA of, I think it's the E1B1 DNA is the African American's DNA. It goes all the way back to West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, all the way back. And it's the, I think it's the J DNA. He talks about the DNA of it. And he talks about the DNA of the people that's in Israel right now. That their DNA lines up with the Turks, lines up with the Turkish DNA, lines up with the European DNA. So to put all this together to say, to answer your question, awakening is telling our people, we got to wake up spiritually first. If you look at every war that was fought, there was a spiritual God that they will go to in order to get the spiritual power, because everything's happening in the spiritual realm first. We have no offense or no defense in the spiritual realm when we try to get up out of captivity, because we're depending upon our oppressor's spiritual God. So we have to find ourselves. We have to find out who we really are. We have to wake up out of the sleep. And once we wake up, we have to get the fog out of our eyes. And when we open up our eyes wide, you're going to discover, like Marley Music say, we are kings and priests. We are holy people.
That's right.
We are holy people. We are set apart from all other people of the nations. And ain't nothing wrong with being set apart. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It has nothing to do with racism. And to cap that out, I want to say this. If we set apart just for a little bit, it has nothing to do with racism. Say, hey, other nations, we are broke. Our roof is leaking and our foundation is spiritually gone. Would y'all please allow us to step aside and fix our house? Now, we don't fix y'all house and build you a mansion. You got gold trimming. You got a roof that's we built for free. You got a foundation that we built for free. Our house over here, roof is leaking and the foundation is gone. Please allow us to build our house. And don't come and try to tear it down, because we're going to have security this time.
The security.
We got to get.
Won't be no more Tulsa, honey, again.
If we go build, we're going to build this. We got to stop building Americans' house and start working on the African Americans' house, so our children can understand what leadership is really truly about. It's not being, I'm gonna be real. It really bothers my mind to think that how in the world can I call leadership if I'm fighting and scrapping to be in code and be tied to the people that actually enslaved me, to be part of the people that actually enslaved me. What have I got? What have my people got? What am I going to tell my children? That your ultimate goal is here? Your ultimate goal should be with your own people, building your own community, striving for something that your kids can see, that then we can start teaching our true history, and we can understand that Columbus did not discover America because our people were already here.
Right in now, awakening.
Start demise. Look, stop abolishing those lies. Get it right.
That's another passion. That's another passion. That's another passion.
That's what's up. Well, family, as you know, we always come to the time in which we least like, and that is when we have to say good night. But before we do, Minister, you've got to share with the masses as far as how they can contact you in order if they know a young person that wants to be a part of the organization, come to the vocational trade, needs some sort of mentorship. Where are you? How to contact you? Let's let them know.
All right, for the Vocational Training Center, you can come and see us on 4921 Albemarle Road, Suite 203. Also, our website is globalvocationaltrainingcenter.com. globalvocationaltrainingcenter.com. Like he said, the video Can't Breathe, you can catch it on YouTube. We're going to roll out the video Awakening in January of 2021. And we're going to be working on another video, Black Wall Street. You can catch it on YouTube. That'll probably be in the summer of 2021.
All right now.
Yeah, we got some stuff going on.
Yeah, because Awakening, boy, that hook and Awakening ain't no joke.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Molly Music is one of my favorites. He is definitely one of my favorite artists. I think because we get away from a lot of the traditional religious music and teaching, and I feel that we need to teach truth. We need to teach empowerment. We need to teach knowledge in our musics, in our readings, in our movies, and just with each other. So I'm super psyched up, guys. I'm like tingling. I'm so excited right now about everything that Minister Norman has said tonight.
And I would, everyone that was listening to me tonight, please go fact check what I said. Please go research everything I said about the awakening, and please go look up Ron Dalton, Hebrew to Negroes.
All right. Well, y'all heard it first right here. Check it out. We have to say thank you. Thank you to Tangi. She's the one who contacted us and said, hey, Mr. Norman, I'm telling you, y'all need him on your show. So I want to give a shout out to Tangi for doing that. We're going to definitely check it out. She's been sharing this along with a host of other individuals. Oh, yeah. And shouts out to Mr. Barton. Thank you for joining us again. He came on board. He was giving us some shouts. Yeah, 412, definitely. We definitely appreciate it. And y'all, if you get a chance, watch the show later on this evening. We'll have it on our YouTube channel as well. Doctor, we're going to make sure we get the link to you as well so you get a chance to see it again with the whole, glitz and the glamour on YouTube and stuff. And if there's anything we can do to assist, all you got to do is reach out to us.
We're gonna remove the if. We'll be looking for your contact to let us know what ATRT can do to help support your cause.
Yes, indeed.
Appreciate you. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, family. Hey, Money, you want to close us out?
Man, I wish I had Awakening right now to play us out. Wait.
AKA fact check. He you know how he do.
Can y'all hear it? All right, fam. YouTube, check it out.
Yes. Y'all heard it first right here. Thank y'all for joining us tonight on At the Roundtable Podcast Show. Again, it's the positive side of media. We love y'all. We mean it. Y'all be good.
Good night, family.